The foundation, we have here the Two of Cups, and this is a very, very good card as the foundation because it basically means that some of you are in a relationship that is built on reciprocity, is built on mutual respect, is built on friendship. So this is a card that where I mentioned, you not only love each other, you like each other as individuals, and you also really respect one another. And there's almost a sense of like reciprocity. It's like you have a big sense of obligation to one another, so you wouldn't do something to purposely hurt the other person, and vice versa, the other person would not do anything to hurt you because you respect and care about each other's emotional needs. This is a really, really beautiful card. It's linked up here with the Six of Wands. And I feel almost like you know that you really care about this person, but there might be some difficulties in moving the relationship along because of work and because of financial issues, okay? So it could be that you both are not, one person might not have the proper, might not feel like they're in the proper place in their life career-wise, and then or the other person might be geographically constrained because of their work. So there's an element of like feeling almost as if this is a really good relationship, but not knowing logistically how it's going to work out. And it's also linked up here with the Death card, which basically means a relationship that breaks off, come back together, breaks off, come back together. So it could be literally a long distance relationship. It could be like a tumultuous relationship. I don't feel it's tumultuous because with this as the foundation, it's like, mutual rapport. So I feel like it might be, it like starts and stop, and so you're not really sure of the direction. And I also feel there are work factors, geographical factors at work as well, that is interfering in this really harmonious and beautiful relationship. Okay, so that's for some of you who are dealing with that. For others of you, let's talk about the past. In the past, we have here the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is a situation where you might have been dating many, many people. You might have also been feeling, on top of the world, mainly because you had a lot of suitors, you had a lot of options. This is kind of like the card where your luck is turning around. You're very prosperous. You have a lot of financial abundance. You also had a lot of opportunities to date and opportunities just in life overall. So you were feeling very, very good. Okay, it's linked up here with the Four of Coins, and it's almost as if a lot of you were clinging on to a situation that was similar to that. So I feel with this spread, there's an element here of your professional achievements, your money, your finances affecting your love relationship. It's almost like you need to weigh your pros and cons here, and you need to really figure out. Um, you need to really figure out like it, you need to figure out what love means. And I feel like, you're deciding between love and money. You're deciding between love and finances. So there are major, major issues at work here. I feel some of you are dealing with, okay? So I feel almost as if you might have been in a relationship, right? That made you feel really good. There was a lot of prosperity. I feel some of you might have been married. You might have had a very karmic relationship with somebody. And I feel like together as a unit, you generated a lot of money. And even though you're no longer happy for whatever reason in the past, you really, hung on to that relationship. Like through, for some reason, you couldn't let it go. You couldn't let the memory of that person go, or you physically couldn't get out of that relationship because it was so financially prosperous, and you were afraid that alone you might not make it, or alone the other person might not make it. So there's an element here of staying in a relationship that you felt was really good, or hanging on to the memory of something from the past that you thought, was the right thing to do. Which brings us to the present situation. We have here the Chariot, where two people are not seeing eye to eye. They're not able to compromise, and they're not able to I feel like there's a just a total stalemate, and there's like total stop energy where people just stop communicating, people stop feeling the same way, and the relationship became very, very difficult. And for some of you, you might have been dealing with a person that is bringing this energy along. They're shown up here as the Page of Swords, an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So a lot of you, there might have been a lot of communication problem between you and another person, or the other person that you're dealing with here is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel like I feel biologically they might be younger than you as well. So there's an element here of not seeing eye to eye, not being able to compromise. You like them, but for whatever reason, communication is just you guys are not syncing up together on the communication front. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Two of Wands. This is kind of like closing that gap, wanting to compromise. But I feel it's almost like it seems like you want to compromise. You're very accommodating. And being a water sign, you really want to make sure that the other person is nurtured and taken care of emotionally. So I feel like you're more than willing to compromise. However, I feel like in the process of compromising, you might realize that, hey, that's not fair. I'm doing all the work, or that's not fair. The other person's doing all the work. So one person feels as if they're putting in a lot in the relationship and the other person's not reciprocating. So there is almost like disharmony, and there's imbalances, as well as, that whole sense of like, what am I putting in versus what you're putting in? There's this discussion about fairness that's going to be heavily on your mind. So I feel like you want to have a discussion about what's fair, what's appropriate, what am I putting in versus what are you getting out. So these are discussions that you're thinking about. You don't know how to breach the topic so that you can discuss it with another person. For some of you, you might physically be dealing with this with an ex when it comes to custody and things like that. And then others, you might be involved with an air sign right now, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and you want to have these discussions, but you might not have the means to do it, okay? You might not know when is appropriate. And we also have here the Hangman. So this is a situation that needs to be resolved. It needs to be brought up. And so once again, I'm inclined to say, okay, so this is the Chariot in the reverse, and this is the Chariot in the upright position. It's sort of like, this is not a unilateral decision. This is a democracy. So you need to have a discussion with the other party and see where they're coming from, try to understand what they want, and then express what you want, because this decision needs to involve the other party. Okay, so don't shy away from conflict. Don't leave text messages, and don't do it through email. This needs to be done face to face so that you can understand and address some issues, because I feel like you or the other person might be avoiding conflict. So I feel like you might, just casually mention it in a text, mention it in an email, but you never have that face-to-face discussion about, where are we headed? What direction is this relationship going? Are we still, do you still want to be together? Like, I feel some of you are just not taking, like that you're not taking direct charge of a situation the right way. It seems like you're making the executive decisions, or the other person is making the executive decisions without consulting each other. And I feel like that's a major source of contention in this reading. So, Scorpios, have a discussion, review your motives, review your feelings, because I feel like people have trouble understanding you and reading you because you're so secretive. So you need to be a little bit more proactive about, talking about how you feel, revealing the inner you, letting people know your intentions, because it's really hard to read you. And so there's no need for this secrecy, especially if you're not hiding anything. So when you kind of like clam up, when you need time to process your feelings, I feel like other people think they did something wrong, and you start retreating, so other people think that like you're hiding something. So even, when you have the best intentions, Other people misunderstand and they feel like you're evasive. They feel you're hiding something. So I feel like that's what's happening here. It is a misunderstanding. And so two people need to really sit down and have an important discussion. Okay? So that's what I'm sensing. In terms of your future position, we have here the Seven of Cups. Okay? And especially, this is for those of you who are single. I do sense that, you're going to be narrowing down your options. And I feel as well, you're going to be quite evasive. We have here the Seven of Swords as well as the Eight of Coins. So I feel like you have several options on your plate for those of you who are single. And I feel that you're going to be narrowing down your options and keeping your options I want to say like keeping your options open between two people. And I'm sensing an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and then an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So I feel like you're leaving your options open between two people that might not know anything about each other. So that's for singles. For others of you, I feel almost like this is what I'm sensing. Even if you're single, I feel like you have an air sign in your midst, an Aquarius, a Gemini, and Libra that you really like. I feel like you really like this person. And I feel almost like you both really see eye to eye. There's a lot of agreement, there's a lot of consensus, but you don't know where the relationship is headed. You don't know if there's going to be a future 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. And so you're trying to work with each other. You're trying to navigate this environment, but it's a little bit difficult, mainly because of careers, mainly because of lack of compatibility. And I also feel like this person, I almost feel, give me a second, I'm going to pull out another card. So I'm trying to figure out why there's so much contention here. I don't know, it might be an age difference even. So we have here the Knight of Wands and we have here the Page of Swords. So I feel like this might be, the same facet of that person. So they might be an air sign, they might be even be a fire sign. But what I'm feeling is this. It's almost like they're not really sure which direction they're going. And so it's hard for you to make plans when this person is not really sure where they're supposed to be, where they're going to go, what their intentions are. So I do sense that, you're getting kind of like yanked around by this person. You might also be at a point where you're just having fun and you don't want to solidify the relationship just yet. They might be pushing you for it and they might want to have a discussion with you, but I feel like you might not see them in a very serious light. Okay, so that's what I'm sensing here. And so my advice here is, Scorpio, you need to have an important discussion, it seems, and it seems like the discussion involves another person. So don't make this decision yourself. You need to figure out where the other person's coming from. And I feel for some of you, you're dealing with somebody who's quite flaky. They say one thing, mean another, and you don't appreciate that. So I feel like you don't appreciate that because when you say something, you mean it. And I feel like this person's a little bit careless with their words. They make promises they can't keep for whatever reason, or their energy is a little bit scattered, a little bit more like all over the place. I'm seeing somebody with attention problems. And so it's really hard for you to try to work together with them as a unit, okay? So I would say, like, more than anything, it's good to be single for this month. And, like for the Scorpio single people, I feel like you have some really good options. And then for others of you, I do sense that, you have a very good foundation here and you want to build on it. So that basically means, having discussions with